What's going on, Sam?
Good evening.
How we doing?
Oh, we're having ourselves a real Wednesday night here.
Well, that's what we're talking about. I guess I want to start off today with discussing what happened in that Miami-New England game at the end there. So as it's been sort of being conveyed now, the Miami Miracle is the name that's been bestowed on what happened at the end of the game. And as a user on Reddit pointed out, there are a lot of alliteration names, I guess, already in existence with the NFL. They made a point to call this that decides that this is the name that this play is going to be given. And you're like, why don't we give it a different name, a more creative name? You guys ever noticed that names are getting less and less creative? And immediately after they posted this, somebody immediately said, yeah, whatever happened to old classic names like The Catch and The Catch 2? And then another kind-hearted user decided to reply as well. No, I got you, dude. How about we call it the old Miami multiple laterals? Oh shit, Kenyon Drake has it now. There's a good block downfield, and why is Gronk playing safety play?
Was that the that wasn't the transcription of the broadcast, was it? Oh, that'd be pretty good too, just a word for word. Kind of like what has kind of happened a little bit with the Michigan State Michigan game a few years ago, where a dude dropped, oh, and he's trouble with the snap.
Yeah.
Just a literal transcription of the
I wish.
play-by-play.
It wasn't that exciting. I don't know. I remember listening to it, and it was kind of, I don't know. I didn't feel very moved by it, but
who was who had the play-by-play for? Was it on CBS?
I think so.
Was it the A-Team?
I think
Tony
that's
Romo
who it
and
was.
Jim Nance.
I'm not certain, but
okay. Yeah. We missed that because we were at the Packers game, but I'm surprised with the name for that play, someone couldn't do something funny with Kenyon something in marathon running.
The Power Thirst commercial.
Yeah. There you go.
As fast as Kenyon. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. People have already sort of dissected this play, and it was.
Oh, and sorry, just to hang on to alliteration there. The most similar play was probably the River City Relay.
No,
you know that one.
That one?
That was the Saints versus the Jaguars in 2002.
Yeah.
Where Juice McAllister threw a fucking dime after getting hit 30 yards downfield. I think that's the only other multilateral touchdown in NFL history. It's a good plug. Yeah, there's a good plug for John Boyce video. Pretty good episode about that. So check that out. Link in the description.
We'll try to remember.
Maybe not. But yeah, except they actually won the game this time. It didn't have to kick an extra point. River City Relay, Miami Miracle, Minneapolis Miracle. Yeah, all alliterative. I'm all, and I am 100% there for a good alliteration, but
is there
Immaculate Reception, the Holy Roller, Sea of Hands, all these old Raiders and Steelers plays, or
Music City Miracle?
I don't know. Oh yeah, there's a good one.
A lot of great ones.
The Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary, the Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary 2. Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary 3.
I don't know. I don't really think it's fair to get hung up on the alliteration or the name. Like, who cares?
Are you fine with Minneapolis Miracle, the game last year, the playoff game?
I don't know what else you'd call it.
Okay.
Minneapolis.
Was it Minneapolis or Minnesota? Okay.
Like, I mean, it truly was like a miracle though, because like it's not at all what should have happened.
Yeah. Well, you also got Miracle at the Meadowlands 1 through I think 3.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 of those. So yeah, good M alliteration. So we just need what's another M city? Any other M cities or states in the NFL? Miami,
Manitowoc.
Minnesota.
The Manitowoc
no,
Miracle.
That's not doesn't have an NFL team. No.
You ever heard of Making a Murderer?
No. I told you my office that I work in is like 2 miles west of there, right?
Manitowoc Miracle.
I wouldn't call that a miracle.
Yeah, me either.
I'd call that a
Manitowoc murder.
Murder.
Oh, yikes.
So, yeah. Anyways, do you want to talk about?
I don't
the
really have
actual
much
play
to
itself?
talk about it, but that. So,
Well,
I guess I do have some to talk about. As people have already sort of dissected from what happened, hindsight is obviously 20/20 in this situation. But a lot of people were criticizing the defensive scheme that was sort of decided upon for that last play. They put Gronk back there, and on the surface level, you can sort of see that, big guy playing deep safety, he's supposed to defend against the Hail Mary pass, right? Well, as a lot of people have already pointed out, Ryan Tannehill just got back from being injured, and I don't think anybody expected him to toss the rock 70 yards to the end zone, which is not what happened. He threw a pass, and then they lateraled it to Kenyon Drake eventually, and he turned the corner on Rob Gronkowski. So, yeah, I don't know. Watching that play, it sort of develop. It was like everything happened in slow motion. I don't know. Everything just sort of happened, and I rewatched the play a few times, and watching that Patriots defense, they just I don't know. They're all moving so slow. Like, it's not even just Rob Gronkowski. Everybody sort of seems pretty sluggish, and I'm not really sure if they sort of just thought somebody else is going to tackle the ball carrier or what. But yeah, at the end of the play, it sort of just was the icing on the cake to watch Gronk sort of trip and fall, and then I don't even remember who he ran into, but he ran into another Patriots player that was trying to run up and make a play.
Yeah, it was just incredible at the end of that thing, because usually with the way those things work, it's like, because where the camera shot's following the ball, and you don't really get a good view of what's going on in the macro level. You don't get that all 22 view. It. The thing is, when you're tossing the ball around, it looks like you got a lane or something, but there's always another guy back there, and then there wasn't. He's turning the corner, heading for the end zone. I was like, oh wait, there's no one else back there. So yeah. Patriots took a lot of heat for that this week from everybody. Like, why the hell is Gronk?
For some reason, the Patriots cannot win against Miami.
The Tom Brady House of Horrors, Hard Rock Stadium.
Actually, though,
I also saw someone else made the joke that, well, it was a 69-yard touchdown, so Gronk's just committed to the bit.
Too. It's like, you know what? Just took one for the team.
That's absolutely true.
He knew.
I believe it.
So besides that, I feel like people have already talked about that. It's pretty old news at this point. Moving on to Monday Night Football. Vikings, yeah, what an ugly game. Or not really an ugly game, but a stark comparison to the high-powered, high-octane offensive games that we've sort of seen a little more of in this season, from the Saints, the Rams, the Chiefs, obviously. We saw two teams that were pretty
Yeah,
stout on defense go up against each other, and neither of them allowed each other very many points. The Vikings scored exactly 0.
Well, until they scored 7.
Never
at the
mind.
End, but, yeah, I mean this game is that, and between between this game and then the Bears-Rams game Sunday night, the two primetime games this week, that's the antithesis to. This is the game for all those people who didn't like that 54-51 Rams-Chiefs games a few weeks back. This is the absolute antithesis to that, where you get its defense and. I don't know. It's tough to say how much is bad or bad offense and as opposed to good defense. Probably a little bit of both, but yeah, still proof that this is not the NFL isn't completely hasn't turned into arena football.
We watched the Bears beat
yet.
the Rams last weekend as well. What was that score, like 15-6 or something? Some stupid score.
Yeah, something crazy.
Yeah. So anyway. Watched this go down, and John DeFilippo got fired the next day.
That was hilarious because that was my guy, my coworker who
is this Jeff?
He planted his flag for the new Packers head coach. He
wanted.
John
We need to
DeFilippo
create a
as the new
segment for
Packers
Jeff
coach.
here. We need hot takes with Jeff. Jeff's corner.
I don't. I can't.
Well, I think I don't know. His takes are awful, but
those are just
all
for
right.
us.
Fair enough. Anyway, so he got fired, and I mean, I guess to talk about this a little bit more seriously before I go into something else here. A lot of people who were Vikings fans mostly were posting about him getting fired, and I mean, there's a lot of analysis that was going into, is this his fault? Is it Kirk Cousins' fault? Is it because they have an awful offensive line? What was the recipe for disaster here? And I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think anybody really knows the answer to that quite yet, obviously, because they haven't played a game without him so far, so don't really know if it was mostly him or mostly not. But I think we can safely say at this point that it was kind of a disappointment, because he was supposed to be, one of the final pieces of the puzzle for the Vikings, who went 13-3 last year, to make a successful Super Bowl run, right? They hired him to replace Pat Shurmur, and he was supposed to be, on the same level as him, coming from Philadelphia. They obviously had a lot of success there last year. So he was supposed to come in with Kirk Cousins, who was an upgrade from Case Keenum. And pretty much they get back Dalvin Cook as well. That's a part that doesn't really get talked about a whole lot. And he was supposed to take that 13-3 team and pretty much repeat that. And that obviously didn't happen because they're sitting at 6-1. So, yeah.
I'm not too terribly surprised with the firing, though, to be honest. Because it seemed like every week for a while now, it's the TV broadcast like, in our production meeting, Mike Zimmer says they want to run the ball more. They want to run the ball more. Throwing the ball too much. I feel like I've heard that every single week when I've
Did you
watched
see
the Vikings.
Mike Zimmer's little soundbite?
No, what'd he say? His is always really
we
good.
didn't want to waste the season. Yeah, when he was asked about firing John DeFilippo.
When being asked.
Stone cold.
Huh. Yeah, dude doesn't give a fuck. I respect it, and he's usually pretty entertaining about it.
That's kind of,
but
I don't know. That was pretty hard. Like, man, you guys obviously were on the same page. So
definitely not.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy to see. But I understand as well. You got Dalvin Cook, who he was injured all year, but you still have Latavius Murray. He was a starter in Oakland for a number of years. He's a serviceable backup, I'd say. But more important,
and you have the number one. They have the top 2 wide receiver.
Well,
number
that's what
one
I was gonna get
receiver
to. Yeah,
tandem
they
in the
have
NFL.
2 top 10 wide receivers easily. And so if you can't make the magic happen with that, I don't know, man. I I think that you're doing something wrong. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a fair move. They're still in contention right now. So, I mean, we'll be excited to see what happens in the Minneapolis experiment here. Anyway, so something that let's get into this. Something that somebody brought up in fantasy football Reddit land was, would it be possible if you were a commissioner of a league to issue a rule where defense and special teams units get a boost to points if they cause the firing of a coach the next day? Like if they cause the firing of an offensive coordinator, your defense gets +3 points. And so somebody expanded on that, and they were like, okay, yeah, we could have it where that happens for defense if an offensive coordinator gets fired, or all of your offensive players on a team get +3 points if a defensive coordinator gets fired, or if your head coach gets fired, all the players on that team get like a +4 or something. Yeah, and I was like, that's an interesting rule. It's making fun out of somebody who's losing their job.
What was my other? What about in the same vein? What if you get a point on defense for forcing a 3 and out?
That'd be interesting. I mean, I think you'd see defenses obviously score a lot more points.
A couple. How many more points?
I don't know, man. I guess I'm just biased watching these fucking Packer games.
Well, that'll taint your view of
no doubt
what's going on in the league.
Yeah, I don't know how much of an uptick it would be. I guess it'd be fair still. It's kind of like PPR scoring.
Yeah, it's only 1 point. Yeah, point per tackle. PPT scoring.
Start a point per block league. PPB. Anyway, yeah,
point per snap. point per time.
So much
point
fun,
per time
guys.
of possession.
Anyway, so I thought that was interesting. I thought it was kind of an interesting little rule change. But anyway, to go a little bit further into this Kirk Cousins, this dealio, so I guess I have a hypothetical for you, or a scenario to compare here. So Kirk Cousins got his $85 million contract in the offseason, Vikings. He's supposed to be kind of the cornerstone here, and it was a big deal that he went to Minnesota because there were so many quarterbacks for them to kind of choose from. They had Sam Bradford at the time, Case Keenum, and Teddy Bridgewater, who was coming off of his gruesome knee injury. And then Kirk Cousins, who was the free agent of the offseason after getting franchise tagged twice by the Redskins. So, it was the Vikings had a big decision to make, and they chose Kirk Cousins to the tune of $85 million. So, something that I sort of dug up here was this comparison to the Kansas City Chiefs in 2009. So after 2008, so just to preface this whole thing, it's not an entirely accurate comparison because this is comparing a team that was undergoing a total rebuild and recall effort here, so it's not the same thing. But I still thought it was interesting. There's still points to take away from it, I think. In 2008, the Kansas City Chiefs went 2-14 with Herm Edwards. Everybody was fired at the end of the year. 2009, they decided to completely rebuild the franchise. And so they wanted to nab all the hot ticket items on the market. So 2009 rolls around. They hire Todd Haley, the Arizona Cardinals offensive coordinator at the time. He was the most highly recommended offensive coordinator of the crop that offseason. They hired him. He's supposed to be a genius. And a hard-nosed coach with an aggressive reputation. They hired Scott Pioli, the New England general manager, who was sort of credited for building that Patriots franchise that started sort of with Bill Belichick and was picking up tons of steam at the time. They hired him. And then they hired Matt Castle, or they signed Matt Castle, who came from New England. So, at the time, these moves seemed like the moves that they were supposed to make, and there was a lot of optimism coming from these decisions, and that the Kansas City Chiefs would be the next best thing because of these decisions that were made. I think that they won 4 games the next year, and then the year following that, they won a similar number of games, maybe 5 and 8, and then Todd Haley was fired. So obviously it didn't work out, but I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that at the time that Kirk Cousins was signed, he was a quarterback that really made sense for the Vikings to sign. And at the same time, John DeFilippo was also the offensive coordinator that made sense to hire for the Minnesota Vikings. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that it'll be interesting to see exactly how this develops, because at the time, which was this past offseason, all these pieces that were added to the Minnesota Vikings seemed to make sense, and it didn't really seem like there was a lot of wrong that they were doing to the franchise by making these moves. And to be honest, I didn't really think anything of it because they were, a really good football team last year, and they still arguably are. But they're obviously underachieving significantly, which was showcased by Monday Night Football this past week against the Seahawks. Getting shut out until that last touchdown by Adam Thielen. So, I don't know. I think that... What do you think about Kirk Cousins, I guess?
It was really interesting, people digging up all the stats about him. All the stats is all his records in big time games, whether it's prime time or Monday Night Football, where he was 0-7. I don't know. There was some record against winning teams or playoff teams. It was really low. Albeit that was his time in Washington, and yeah, wins and losses aren't necessarily all land on a quarterback, but still, it's noteworthy. That said, I still think Kirk Cousins that's the right choice. Whether you're picking him or Case Keenum, I'll take Kirk Cousins. And I think I remember saying this at the beginning of the year, and I'm sticking to it. Where my whole take on this would be, Kirk Cousins has a higher floor, also a higher ceiling than Case Keenum, but there is some overlap. I think you got the ceiling of Case Keenum last year, and you're getting out of maybe the floor of Kirk Cousins this year. So you're in that overlap area where, yeah, Case Keenum was better last year, but on an aggregate, over the course of an entire career, Kirk Cousins is going to be better. And also, it's going to be tough to replicate. They went 13-3 last year. With the defense that was playing lights out and it was extremely healthy. I think we were talking beginning of the season. I was thinking that they're not going to be as. They probably still were going to be good, and they're not bad. They're for 500. They're okay at worst. That said, it's going to be tough to replicate a 13-3 season just because, well, they're not the New England Patriots. That's about the only team you expect consistently to be, double-digit wins year in, year out, like clockwork. and they're not the New England Patriots. So some regression I think was expected, not entirely surprising, especially when you're bringing in a new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, gelling that all together. But at the end of the day, I still think signing Kirk Cousins was the right choice. I mean, given the alternatives of Kirk Cousins, Teddy Bridgewater. There's a third guy I don't remember, but between those
Sam
three,
Bradford.
I'm going to say Kirk Cousins Sam Bradford there. Yeah, of those four guys, I'm going to say first pick would be Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree. I mean, I really think that the only real comparison here that, I mean, I don't know. On one hand, you can't really, it's the hindsight, fallacy where if they would have picked another guy and Kirk would have played for somebody else and played well, we'd have been yelling about how the Vikings didn't pick Kirk Cousins. But we haven't seen Teddy Bridgewater play very much because he's a backup in New Orleans now. So I don't know. Like you can't really say that he's better than him or not.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
what the deal is there.
If Kirk Cousins would have gone to a different team anyway, I mean, the situation would have been completely different. He would have been different players, different offensive system. I mean, that 1-to-1 trying to do a comparison between, well, they should have signed this guy or that guy. You can't. It's tough to do that. That doesn't, like in football, that doesn't really work. That doesn't work very cleanly at all. Especially at the quarterback position. Because situations are going to be completely different from one team to another. No two situations are going to be, dead ass the same. So Case Keenum's been okay, I guess, with Denver. Maybe not as productive as he was last year, but maybe Denver, that's a completely different situation than what he had when he was with the Vikings last year. I don't think anyone's out here saying Case Keenum is playing better than Kirk Cousins. I don't off the top of my head know how their basic stat lines compare, but I don't think Case Keenum is greatly outplaying Kirk Cousins, and I don't necessarily know that Kirk Cousins is outplaying Case Keenum by all that much either.
I think he's definitely, not by a significant margin, but Kirk Cousins is absolutely playing better than Case Keenum this year. It's not really Case Keenum's fault.
No, not at all.
Go from the Minnesota Vikings who have, you shouldn't, there's obviously Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen that are playing lights out, but it's no insignificant thing to have people like Kyle Rudolph and Dalvin Cook, Latavius Murray, and an offensive line really that's, doing stuff. The Denver Broncos have a decent offensive line, but I think there were obviously a lot of question marks in the beginning of the year, especially with the running back situation, because they drafted Royce Freeman, signed Phillip Lindsay as an undrafted free agent, and then had Devontae Booker sort of filtered in there. So with a lot of questions there in establishing the run game, I'm sure it wasn't easy for somebody like Case Keenum, who's typically been a journeyman quarterback, to come into the system, completely new system, like you said, and perform the way that he performed last year. So I don't know. It's sort of tough to say. I don't know. I guess props to Pat Shurmur. He's
good job, Pat.
Proving to be an offensive. He's proving that he was a significant part of that Minnesota offense. I guess.
And just looking at quarterback rating this season, passer rating. Kirk Cousins 13th and Case Keenum 27th. So just as a one glance comparison, that's how those two add up. Also, just while I have some passing stats up, the NFL leader in just looking at passes intercepted, Sam Darnold is 15, Andrew Luck and Ben Roethlisberger have 13, and this is hilarious. There's there's 5 guys with 12 interceptions. Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jameis Winston are 2 of the 5, and they're on the same team.
Hell yeah.
That is hilarious.
Man, that Bucs team.
Gotta blow it up. I've already pontificated on that, I think, enough. But
Yeah, the more I watch the Bucks, the more I agree with you. The more I just want
hard reset.
Like, yeah, like tired of seeing Dirk Cutter with those low-hanging glasses on his face. Just, it's not working, man. Whatever you're doing over there, it ain't it.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's got to go.
Time to pack up the suitcase and end this experiment. Hard Knocks hype is officially dead.
Gosh.
So anyway, getting out of that, though, on to more optimistic material. George Kittle nearly broke the single-game tight end receiving record this past week. He went 210 for a touchdown. That's nuts. 210 yards in a single
Most
game.
of it in the first half.
It was entirely in the first half. He didn't get a single pass in the second half.
Oh, I thought he got one, but...
Oh, he might have gotten one.
I don't
or
know.
Maybe he didn't. I don't know. He needed 5 yards to beat the record.
You didn't get it.
No. Kyle Shanahan.
Well, I think I heard his Kyle Shanahan post game was like, "Oh, we're gonna give a game ball to George Kittle who had 200 some odd yards or whatever." He's like, "Yeah, I don't know. Probably should have thrown you a ball in the second half a couple times. I don't know. Whatever."
Yeah, he was super nonchalant about it.
Yeah, just like kind of like he's
Even
super
on the
nonchalant
sideline-
about. Well, I don't know. Probably should have ran the ball a little more in that Super Bowl, huh?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I like it. Just looking
Nothing.
forward.
No one will be as nonchalant about anything as Blake Bortles, though.
Man, that guy. Shout out to Blake.
The boat. Dude doesn't care.
Man, that's crazy, though. I mean, he, like, I don't know. He obviously, is, like, I don't know. I don't want to use the word apathetic because I kind of respect his attitude, honestly, because
I
don't know.
100%.
Like, what a stressful, stupid situation to be in. Like, I mean, I get it. I don't really blame Jacksonville for benching him. But at the same time, it's like, really, Cody Kessler is the answer? I don't know. Blake Bortles isn't playing well, but is Cody Kessler playing well?
Got to see what you got. I saw what they saw saw what they needed out of Blake Bortles, I guess, which is fine.
That's enough.
That doesn't really matter this year.
I really liked when they were talking about him getting out of Florida finally.
Been
And
trying
then
to
they
leave
were
since I was 12.
Yeah, and they were like, "You're gonna get your ass signed by Tampa Bay."
That's so probably going to happen.
It's like very much within the realm of possibility.
You did raise a good point, though. No state income tax.
That's right. This is a very important thing for NFL athletes to remember. Yeah. Shout out to Blake Bortles. Shout out to that interview on Part of My Take.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. So you got Joe Philbin is elite here. What do you mean by that?
I mean, well, first of all, Spins he kind of took some good fun ribbing for burning 2 challenges in like 90 seconds at the start of the game.
Oh my God, that was really something.
I think that is the smartest thing you could possibly do. He was just prepping himself for a situation where, down the stretch in the game, if there was a critical catch or something that was worthy of a challenge down the stretch, but he's like, well, my hands are tied. You can't get mad at me for not challenging that because I can't. You can get mad at him for challenging the first 2, but you use them right away so you don't have to make a critical decision down the stretch in the second half. So I think that's you shoot them both in the first half. Don't have to worry about them.
And that was some. I agree. Take the decision making right out of the hands of the head coach. That was some awful luck on those challenges.
Yeah, I didn't.
I
didn't
can't
see the
say
plays.
for sure. I rewatched the highlights from that because I wanted to see, because we were watching it on the TV in the loading dock, and I couldn't really see those like slow motion plays because we're watching this TV that's 50 feet in the air and it's like 12 by 12. Yeah, it's this tiny TV. So anyway, I wasn't about to make any decisions on that replay because I can't see anything. So I went home and I watched it, both of them. And I mean, even when I had it up close and right next to my face, to be honest, I don't know. I really do think it could have gone either way, I guess. I don't necessarily blame the officials for calling them both the same, but
so that was the first thing. But to a larger, more, I guess, more real sense that Joe Philbin is elite. If the Packers beat the Bears this week, I am all in on the Packers making the playoffs.
That's a big if.
Right. So I mean, if they beat the Bears, which whatever, rivalry games throughout the record books, doesn't matter. Anything can happen, or
That's
whatever.
true.
But because the Packers got to win out, and they have the Jets and the Lions to finish out the year. Those are both very winnable games, regardless of who is the head coach. And then the Vikings have looked terrible. They play the Dolphins, who they're going to be riding high after a big win versus the Patriots, and they also have the Lions, and they get the Bears. So I think they just need to lose, a couple of those. Certainly very, certainly very plausible. Who is it? Oh God, who else is this playoff picture is so dense right now with Packers at the very bottom of it.
I mean,
but
they gotta beat out
who else is that?
the Vikings, the Eagles, the Panthers, the Redskins. I think are technically still ahead of us.
Yeah, Redskins, Eagles, Panthers, and Vikings. Yeah, so those are in reverse order. So Vikings 6 right now in playoff seeding, Panthers 7, Eagles 8, Redskins 9. So
Yep.
all those teams have been playing like ass for the last couple weeks here. So
Yeah,
we just talked about who the Vikings have left. The Panthers have
Saints twice.
New Orleans, the Saints twice, and the Falcons. So okay, I think we can go ahead and scratch them off the playoff contention. Who else? The Eagles.
are also
Eagles
playing
riding.
not good.
They get the Rams and the Texans in the next 2 weeks. So thank you.
Carson
you for your
Wentz
service,
is going to be
Eagles.
out this week.
Oh, that too. Oh. So you got Big Nick slinging the rock, and then you got the Redskins who don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, honestly though, like that quarterback
They've lost
situation,
4 straight.
it's oh my god, that team is literally falling apart.
They get Jacksonville, Tennessee, and the Eagles to finish out the year. So
Yuck.
I don't think it matters who they play. I think they're the worst team in the NFL right now.
They were the worst, like
Just-
6-2 team when they were that. Like it was unreal that they were at the record that they were even at. They were never a good team this year.
They're okay.
I don't think so.
They're okay.
I think that they were the most. They okay. Maybe they were okay is a good statement because I was just about to say that they were like the definition of mediocre.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, do you have anything to expand on this Joe Philbin thing? I mean, I don't know. I really didn't analyze.
He's funny.
The game.
He's kind of silly. His press conferences.
That's good.
He's like,
That's a plus.
well, like, we used those 2 challenges, and then after the first one, I said, I said to the coaches, like, hey, we have to be a little more conservative with, when we're going to use our challenge here, our second challenge, and I guess that didn't really get through to some people, I guess, and he rolled his eyes.
Oh, Joe.
So, he's fun. He's getting fired for sure. So, but that'd be something fun if the Packers become the first NFL team to make it to the postseason with an interim head coach.
Win the Super Bowl with an interim head
Sure.
coach.
And then fire him.
And then fire him.
Yeah, that'd be the only thing. Like, that'd be like the worst thing the Packers should do is not only completely fuck up the tank and make the playoffs, but then, oh shit, if they make the playoffs, that means they probably have to keep Joe Philbin, right?
Right. I don't know.
So I'm conflicted, but it also just ride out the silliness while we can. Enjoy the silliness that is this interim lost season that might actually not be lost entirely.
That's the thing, man. I had convinced myself, and I had already put myself in the mindset that the Packers were just going to have like a close to, top 10 pick this year.
And they win one
They're
damn
just outside
game.
of the top
They win
10.
one game,
Yeah.
and it's like, well,
Right, yeah. All of a sudden, they're in playoff contention because the NFC is just a mess.
Yeah, they lose 3 in a row. They lose to the goddamn Cardinals, and they win one game against a not very good Falcons team. And I'm sitting here like, well, actually, maybe I don't know. It's got to be the Bears. Crazier things have happened. But yeah, no, I was in the same boat after that Cardinals game. Where I was like, it's over, it's done. I don't have to worry about the Packers anymore. It's all over. But
Well,
hold on a second, though. So,
I'm liking this Aaron Jones Jamal Williams split, though.
what was it this week?
I'll tell you that 17-4.
That's good. It's very good.
It's getting to what it needs to be. Beyond that, though.
The NFL announced Wednesday that it will play 5 games internationally in 2019, 4 in London and 1 in Mexico. But don't expect the Packers to travel overseas. Even though they play a road game at the Chargers next season, and the Chargers are hosting one of the international games, I'm told the Packers aren't expected to be their overseas opponent next season. That's from Rob Domofsky, so damn it.
Well,
No London trip this year. No Mexico City trip next year.
man, that would be wild, going to Mexico. What up? Mexico City.
Bring your own water.
All right. Well, I was just thinking about that because I saw the teams got posted as well, but I guess Rob Domofsky has the insider info.
Rob J bro, big J journalist bro, bitch. I don't know.
Yeah. I've got some feelings about Rob Domofsky, but I won't unload him here. I think we're going to have a segment in the future on sports journalism.
We're gonna have to have an intervention where our sports journalism intervention. Really lay out how we feel about our sports media brethren.
Yeah, that's right. I've already got a J School fuck picked out, so
Yeah,
we're about to have him on the show and grill him real good.
we'll get to the bottom of this.
That's correct. So anyway, moving on to the next thing.
Season leadings. So it's our holiday themed reading from my favorite internet troll and or real person, Lee Fulmer, the legend of Northeastern Ohio. This guy, for those of you who aren't regular listeners, and maybe don't remember some earlier episodes where this guy likes to pop up on the Facebook.com and really throw his 2 cents around about all things sports related, and how Tom Brady, studied film of this guy who played in the 70s at Youngstown State for 2 seasons and then abruptly retired. Or he could have gone pro in both baseball and football, but he didn't because he retired. Anyways, he's a real fun guy to read. So I'm going to read to you here his latest status from November 28th at 6:52 p.m. 2018 here. Lee Fulmer writes, quote, "One of my proudest achievements after my great playing career was teaching and coaching children in recreational departments from Columbus to Cleveland to Youngstown in the 80s and early 90s. It's simply baffling how well I was treated then, and I am flat out disrespected now by some. No one in all caps, laughed at me or wanted to put me down by that. Nobody posted anti-Lee hate and propaganda online or made anything similar to that. It's clear that today's generation has little to no respect for greats like myself and others before and after me. I guess it's a good thing I stopped coaching and mentoring kids when I did. They would do anything and everything to try and finish my successful career in many fields. Pathetic, but thankfully, I don't live a sad and pathetic life like some people do. You'll not keep me down, you former rivals and people that just plain want to shut down everything that I do. You have failed and you will continue to do so. I expect drastic changes. Thank you, fans and friends that have always come and stood by me, and always will." Dude, I want Lee to drop an album. Just a fucking diss track for all these. Yeah, because Lee gets a lot of people that aren't down with what he's don't know the legend of Lee, and are questioning his when he says that he's a former pro and football star. That's how he starts every comment, with former football star. And then it's always the same.
Yeah.
It's always the same dog and pony show where someone says, "Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "What do you mean? Who am I? I'm Lee Fulmer. I'm a legend. And I've never heard of you because I did a Google search of you." Oh, it never fails to entertain.
Yeah, like, we've discussed Lee Fulmer quite a bit, just among ourselves here, and we've pretty much convinced ourselves that this has to be a bit, but this has been the longest running bit ever.
The longer
like,
it goes
this has
on, the
gone
more I'm
for-
convinced that it's not a bit.
Right. It we've seen this guy post and comment on articles.
This has been going on for
and
years.
Things. Yeah, this has been going on for a number of years, and he doesn't stop. Like, he posts fairly frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of, this is this a bit, or is this a real guy but he's just doing a bit, or I don't know. It's pretty funny. You should just look him up if you're listening to this, Lee Fulmer, Fullmer, and just read his statuses on Facebook. They're all pretty great. So, anyway, Lee Fulmer.
I saw someone ask him for an autograph, and he's like, "Yeah, just message me and send me your deets, and I'll send you an autograph, no charge." He likes to brag that he never charged for an autograph, and I kind of want to slide into his DMs and
get an autograph.
Yeah.
You should ask him for an autograph picture of his profile picture.
I'd fucking frame that shit and put it above my bed.
The autograph Lee Fulmer headshot.
So
bad.
Long live the meme.
Lee is a G. Anyway, found this little thing on the internet today as well. Referees used a starter pistol to signal the end of a quarter up until the year 1991. And then I watched a couple videos of this happening. Yeah, man, it's wild. I didn't know that this was a thing, and it's pretty crazy to think that this was the way that it was all the way up until 1991. It's not too far in the past. Like, I was not born yet, but...
Not by much.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's not... there were things definitely happening in the NFL in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, and it's kind of crazy to think that every single quarter ended with a referee literally pointing a gun in the air and firing it. Anyway, thought that was interesting.
I like that little nugget.
Yeah. Moving on, though, got this in the news today. The city of Oakland's filing an antitrust lawsuit against the Raiders and the NFL as a whole for what's been going on with the Raiders relocating to Las Vegas. And the details here are pretty much the people think that they were scammed out of a bunch of tax money that was taken from them in order to finance the stadium in Oakland right now, and pretty much establish the franchise there. So, as a result, this means that the Raiders, since their lease is expiring in Oakland, they will not be able to renew their lease in the current stadium that they have, and they have to find a new home for next year, for the 2019 season. So we're going to have the something Raiders next year.
So, okay, then the first one, the first location that popped up for them to play, it probably makes the most sense to be San Diego. Play at Qualcomm Stadium, the old Chargers digs.
Yeah, and
Really,
That'd be just wild.
just a really nice place they have down there.
a real fine establishment. Really suits the Raiders, I think. Honestly,
I think it's actually would be a step up from the Coliseum. Apparently,
it might
apparently
be,
the Coliseum
which is
is
just disappointing.
now we've been to Qualcomm Stadium, and I guess it's agreed upon that that the Coliseum was worse somehow.
That is incredible. Qualcomm Stadium is not a nice place.
It was the trashiest sporting complex I've ever been to. It was
Yeah, that's not like an understatement either. I mean, without a doubt.
I couldn't believe that that a pro sports team played there. Like when we went to, oh gosh, what was it? Camping, I don't know what it's called now, but the stadium in Orlando, I think it's Camping World Stadium now. Like that place in Orlando was pretty meh. But no pro team plays there. I think UCF plays there. And they host the Citrus Bowls there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever. And I guess they just renovated it, too, in the last couple of years, which it needed it. That place was, yeah, meh. But, yeah, Qualcomm was just unreal.
Yikes.
These wooden steps going down from these old, rusted-out bleachers leading down to the field, you know, was probably the equipment guy in the 80s, or one of the field guys in the 80s, made these wooden steps in his garage at home, probably.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Was super underwhelming.
The scoreboard has you can actually look up and from a distance away and see oh, I can actually see the light bulbs that are make up the scoreboard. It's just a series of regular old light bulbs.
I think that was the first stadium too that I think it's the first stadium that I had been to where it was transformed from a baseball field. Mm-hmm. So you could see the dirt and stuff from the baseball.
I don't think anyone's played baseball there in 30 years.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But you look at the outskirts of the stadium, and you can see that there was a baseball diamond there for sure. So yeah, Qualcomm, home of the Raiders.
The first sign to me that it was the whole aesthetic of the place is really weird, just because it's just like a bare bones concrete structure. It's just the entire exterior is just gray concrete. It's not even remotely dressed up at all. And also the Qualcomm Stadium sign was half burnt out.
Yeah, there's these fluorescent light bulbs that were lighting up the the stadium scoreboard. Yeah, it just is you wouldn't even be surprised if half of them went out in the middle of the game. Mm-hmm. Cody Kessler is in that game that we went to.
So
that's pretty cool.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
That's right. What a wild time.
How about it?
Anyway.
What are some other locations the Raiders could go? First thing was San Diego. The other one popped in my head was St. Louis.
Yeah, I guess.
They got a vacant stadium there. San Antonio, play at the Alamo Dome.
Yeah.
That probably needs some updates to it, but
I mean, really, I think San Diego is kind of the place, just because of there's no time to, I think, make any conversions here without spending a lot of money.
And there's really no reason to spend money, because I think you said, the time wise, it doesn't make sense. You have less than a year, and also you're leaving very shortly thereafter to go to Las Vegas.
Right, you just need a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
or you could do what the Giants did, or not the Giants, the Saints did in 2005 when the Superdome was not suited for play following Hurricane Katrina. You could just play every game on the road.
Okay, yeah, you could do that.
You
could do what Minnesota did, play at University Stadium.
Well, I guess they already ruled out playing at the UNLV. If they would go to Las Vegas now and just play out of UNLV Stadium, I guess that's falls in the category of they need major improvements to make that even make that even feasible. So that's basically a non-starter.
Yeah.
But what about the Rose Bowl?
Why not? Seems like a fitting place
Coliseum.
to have the Raiders.
Coliseum's already occupied. That
yeah, I don't know.
little dinky
I
soccer
don't know.
stadium where the Chargers played is occupied. So
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I guess you could. There's a ton of places in California, but who wants the Raiders?
I don't know. They could play at Stanford or Cal or Fresno State. I don't know.
Right. I guess that's what I'm saying. Is there's all these places.
UC Davis, UC Irvine.
UC. Oh, well, that's Rose Bowl. Yeah, we'll see.
I love it.
Keep tabs
I
on
love
it.
when silly things like this happen.
Last thing here, I ended up tying my survival pool win with 3 other people because what happened was the Broncos lost this past Sunday, and then the Steelers managed to lose to the Raiders this weekend as well.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. And how that happened exactly was Chris Boswell, who just received a contract this offseason, missed a field goal earlier in the game and then lined up to kick a game-tying field goal and pulled a Charlie Brown, completely just kicked the ball right into the ass of one of his linemen, and they lost the game.
Whoops.
So yeah, it was pretty embarrassing to watch, and it's kind of like yikes. And the Steelers have already announced that they're bringing in kickers like Kai Forbath to compete with Chris Boswell. And so that led some questions to Chris Boswell. Right now is leading Pro Bowl voting for kickers. So if he got released, would he still make the Pro Bowl as a free agent?
I would think not. I would think being a Pro Bowler is contingent on being an NFL roster.
Is it? I
don't
idea,
know.
Honestly.
But I would assume that, that'd be too much fun for the NFL to have a released player make the Pro Bowl. Hockey could do that. I think that would be the thing. Like in the NHL, you'd see that, like, because you had something similar a couple years back where I don't remember the guy's name, but there was like the enforcer who was like scored 2 goals in his entire career, made the All-Star team or All-Star game because a bunch of people just decided, yeah, let's all vote for him because he fights.
Really, that's what I think should happen with the Pro Bowl, man. That's what I did today at work. I did my Pro Bowl vote.
Nice.
I put a lot of people in I think that deserve a fair shake.
Did you vote for Jimmy Graham?
I did.
Did you actually?
Voted for Jimmy
Did
Graham.
you actually?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
He was at the top of the list. So
Why is he going
to the first?
Why are people voting for him to the Pro Bowl? He's garbage this year.
Oh, they're not voting for him. It's like alphabetical.
How is he? Wait, what? How is he at the top? How is Jimmy Graham at the top of the alphabetical list?
I think it's in 2 columns.
Oh,
Is how it works. I mean, I'd have to look it up completely. Like maybe I think it was that's all how I voted the entire time was I just clicked people that were at the top of the list. Or people that like their names stood out to me. So like some Packers people, I'd click on them. Definitely voted for Byron Bell.
Nice. Did you vote for your guy Philip Lindsay?
I did find him. I was like, there were a couple people where it was like, you deserve an actual Pro Bowl vote.
Like Eric Ebron?
I did. I voted him in.
I think that's deserved.
My boy Eric. After all these years, dude. I might flex him in this week in fantasy because of all these fucking injuries.
Odd flex, but okay.
Absolutely. Running that 2 tight end set.
Yeah. You stacking him and Kittle together?
Dude, I have to play George Kittle
Absolutely.
because he's a monster. But also, Eric Ebron is projected to outscore any of my other people by a fair margin.
Well,
because
he's either going to do nothing or score 3 touchdowns.
and I think he's closer to doing something than nothing.
Who do the Colts play this week?
I think they play somebody tough. Let me check real quick.
TUFF tough or TOUGH tough?
They play Dallas.
Oh. That's tough.
Yeah, I agree. Tough defense.
Pretty good.
But I'm sort of out of options here. LaShawn McCoy is out.
Yikes.
Spencer Ware is out.
Yikes.
I have Damian Williams,
Yikes.
Mark Ingram,
Eh.
Allen Robinson, and Adam Humphries on my
Yeah.
bench.
Nope.
Yep. So that's what we're working with here.
Unless do you want to collude real quick?
See, we tried that. I was not able to pick up your
But
man.
it's Wednesday. Try
Am
right
I
now.
allowed to pick somebody? Am I allowed to pick? Wait. Can I pick somebody up? If
Try it right now.
Well, no. If wait. No. Don't drop anybody.
Too late. No, I'm kidding.
God damn it. I already
got Robert Woods?
submitted some dude who's not even in the playoffs.
Oh, well, at least he can't hurt you.
Right, exactly. I mean, he just took him away. Well, right. I'm glad that somebody who isn't,
He just cucked you.
contending. Right. I think it would have to wait until tomorrow, maybe.
I think you'd be able to do it right now.
Well, because I put in a claim and I got Damian Williams.
Here, let's try this. I will drop somebody not of value, and you just see if you can just pick them up right away, or if you have to put in a claim. And then if you have to put in a claim, just cancel it.
All
And
right.
if you can just pick them up, then we'll do it for real.
Cool.
So I will drop Chase Daniel.
This is exactly why people are getting in trouble right now for Russia, is for pretty much this, but not with fantasy football.
This is, but they do it with like votes and stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, like this is exactly what's happening right now. This is the textbook definition of collusion.
Yes. I
All
don't.
right, did you
Hold on.
drop
I gotta
him?
look in the league. I gotta see if I can find the league info and see if this is against the rules explicitly. No, hold on. I gotta pick somebody up. Who should I pick up? How about Mohamed Sanu's available. Let me get Jason Myers. Or no, Adam Vinatieri. Let me get him. And drop Chase Daniel. Confirm. Okay. Now try and get Chase Daniel.
Chase Daniel. Claim. I guess I'll try to drop Aldrich Rosas.
Yep.
Oh, claim for Chase Daniel has been submitted. Process is on the morning of December 14th.
So you'd have to put a waiver claim in.
Yeah.
Nuts. I bet you that's to prevent this very thing we're trying to do.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that makes sense.
I would drop DeAndre Hopkins, but I can't. I can't give him to you or trade him to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad.
I'm trying, man.
Yeah.
Because
I'd have done the same thing in your situation.
I got all these guys that could help you. I got the Cowboys defense.
Oh my god.
I'm
I don't know, man. I don't really want to play Bears defense against Green Bay because they obviously Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw an interception, I guess, ever.
yeah.
But also, I don't know. I also don't think they're going to score very many points, just judging from what happened last week. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, moving on from Russian collusion here, we're going to end this week's episode with a a financial bit here from Sam. Sam is something of a financial wizard as of recently. He's picked up magical powers from the Robinhood app. Do you have any updates for us, Sam? What's going on in your financial portfolio?
The dogs are really barking. Dogecoin is, in the last week, is down 5%. So that's not good. So I'm still holding on to that. I did make a microtransaction, basically. I had one share of Ethereum Classic, another cryptocurrency. I think I sold that for 4% or not 4%, 4 cents in profit. So that's cool.
Hell yeah!
I don't think I have to pay taxes on that this year. I think that's below the threshold. I did look. I know that came up in our discussion, our financial discussion at the Packers game on Sunday, and I did look it up. And Robinhood does provide tax documents, so shout out. There's a little plug for them, but they will only generate tax documents if you have a if you make $10, if you sell and you are up $10 or more, so below the threshold for that. However, I did make one major purchase into my my portfolio. I did purchase one share of the Union Pacific Railroad.
You did pull the trigger on Union Pacific?
I did. One share at like $100. It's like $150.
Hell yeah!
I don't know the little numbers at the on their page here say 52% suggestion to buy. So, good enough. Bought it. I have one other hot stock tip, and that would be, where is it? Not Schlumberger. I think it was MasterCard or Visa. I think it was Visa. Hold on. Yeah, Visa. That is my hot stock tip of the week. So let's look at their financial their market numbers here. They have a market cap of $303.08 billion. So that means something. Average volume 8 million, in a volume of 2 million. So their P over E ratio, which is a big deal, I think, is 32.292. Dividends div per yield is 0.055. So that's a bunch of stuff. I don't know what any of that means. But over the last year, they're up 22%. Over the last 5 years, up 184%. More looking short-term here. They're short-term gains. Last 3 months, they are down 5%, down 3% in the last month. In the last week, they're up 3%. So not really doing a whole lot so far in the last couple months, but definitely the long-term trend looks like it's projecting upward. And it'd be, just from a lay standpoint, I don't see how Visa is going to go out or going to lose money. I mean, a credit card company, everybody, I think they're one of the larger credit brokers or credit card peoples in the United States. So I wouldn't see how that would go down in the near future. I don't think the credit industry is going to have a big bubble that's going to burst. So hot stock tip. 92% say you should buy. The buy rating, according to Morningstar, Visa has an established network and brand, and has only to adopt new technology. That's a weird sentence. Has only to adopt new technology for its own purposes in order to fend off competition. So, definitely an innovator and a leader in their industry. I'm saying buy. Ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
So.
Hell yeah.
I have fun.
All right.
The other ones I have fun following, that I don't have stock in any of these, but I have fun following some of our clients that we work for at work. Not just the railroads, but so there's Schlumberger, there was an oil company, in Tidewater, who's another oil company. Prologis, we have a client that's their commercial realtor.
You just get to kind of check in and see how
how are these companies doing? Well, let me get in on some of that. Let me get some of that drip.
Look out, Michael Kendricks.
So, hey, I'm not. That's not what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure that's not what I'm doing.
Let me get some of that drip. Let me send a couple of emails.
All I know is that we do stuff with them. and I'm very, very logically connecting the dots. Like, well, if they're building a new facility and they're putting trains in there, they probably have money. And they're probably going to make more money by expanding. I don't
just running the train economy here, just analyzing
riding the train to the
ups and downs.
Riding the train to the top.
That's right. I have nothing to contribute to this conversation. I don't diddle around on Robinhood.
Should. It's a lot of fun.
I really liked when you brought it up to Jerry, and he's like, "Is that the app where they make day trading look like a game?"
It feels like a game. I love it.
Just playing with money.
Yeah. Oh, here. Oh, another hot stock tip would be MasterCard. I think I have a MasterCard. They're similar. 90% buy. Financials look good. A little bit of a smaller company than Visa, but yeah, pretty much the same trend we're looking at. Shares a little pricey, about $200, but golly, I don't see how MasterCard's gonna go out of business. It's really interesting.
So there you have it.
It's interesting looking at like you can invest in like Bank of America, like, so I can buy stock in a bank. I don't get it. That seems really weird to me.
You move the money around the movers of the money.
Like, yeah, I can invest money in my bank. So I have BMO Harris, and I can buy BMO Harris stock, or I could just go to a BMO Harris and put it in a savings account. Huh. Well, that's kind of neat.
Well, you won't know until you try.
Yeah. Oh, also, then just a response to Jerry's point, I did do a little research. In terms of day trading, you are limited. Well, with the free version of Robinhood, you're limited to 3 day trades per day. But if you get Robinhood Gold or whatever, Tinder Plus or whatever for Robinhood, you get unlimited day trades, I think.
Why would you want to trade more than 3 times a day?
I don't know. Buy low, sell high. You just
buy.
You buy and sell on the same day. Just, it doesn't have a chance to go down if you don't let it. But like, hey, what did Jerry say? It was it's not when you get in the market. Or, God, what was the phrase he had? It's not market timing, but it's time in the market.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Something like that.
That's what my grandpa says.
Yeah, so whatever.
I guess he's right. In 10 years, in 50 years, this could be worth $2. Anyway, all right. I think that'll wrap it up this week.
Well, thanks for listening. Thanks to all of our loyal listeners.
We appreciate you guys. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, Twitter. Fade us a like this video, comment on it.
Comment down below your favorite football play.
We'll read them all. Catch you next week. Bye-bye.